Shout out to all the viewers.
She was with me when I was down.
All right, man.
Still love me when I'm broke.
We finna go ahead and get started. we finna go ahead and get started, man. We back with another episode. Today we got a division breakdown. We will be breaking down. Hey, we will be breaking down two divisions today: the AFC South and the NFC North. We're gonna go ahead and get started with the NFC North. Last year, 3 teams from this division all made the playoffs: the Packers, Lions, and the Vikings, leaving the Bears as the odd team out. Today, the format's going to be a little different. We're gonna start off with one team, kind of all give our where we think they'll rank this year, and kind of just go from there. And so we're going to start with the Bears, since they were the odd team out last season. Where do y'all think they should finish this season, or where do you think they will finish this year?
Man, I think they're 1 year away, bro. I do. To me, this is more of Caleb Williams' rookie year. You got a rookie head coach, Ben Johnson, who I'm a big fan of, and then you got a lot of young weapons around him as well. So I think he's going to put up some big-time numbers. I think statistically, they're going to be really, really good. I don't think it's going to translate to many wins. I think I got them right around 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. I got them third in the division, honestly. But I think it's going to be exciting to watch. They're going to be a fun offense to watch. I think they're okay on defense. But I'm excited to see what Ben Johnson does with Caleb Williams. And, it's going to be fun.
I feel like their defense were keeping them in games last year when they was trying to figure everything out. Keenan Allen was hurt a lot last year. Obviously, DJ Moore is a threat. Roma Duze, just like Caleb Williams, was trying to figure stuff out. I think they, with the help of Ben Johnson, I think they start off slow. But
can y'all hear me?
Shit.
Yeah. I think they got the chance to go second. I got them predicted second.
Oh man, no, we there. We hear you, Ant.
We good. We good. There we go.
Oh shit. Go ahead, Miles. Kick us off, brother.
The Bears 8-9, man, finishing third in the division. Kind of piggybacking off of what Johnny was saying, man. I like Ben Johnson, man. I think he had the Lions right where they needed to be, and I think what he can do with the Bears and having Caleb Williams, basically a project quarterback, who we all know who has a lot of potential. Unlock his potential, and then basically have that Bears offense same way the Lions was, elite. So I'm excited to see what the Bears can do, but I think they're going to finish third because there's a lot of questions around that team still. But yeah.
Scoop, how you feeling about the Bears, man? If you can hear us.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I got Chicago at second. I think Ben Johnson, I think he knows the league. I think that, like Johnny said, this is Caleb Williams' year. I think he's going to show his playmaking ability, become that top 10 quarterback. He got the weapons around him. I don't know. I think they're going to burst this year. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they're going to come second.
Heard you. I think I got them third too. Second's high, but I understand why. When you kind of look at their season last year, they had 7 losses that were decided by one possession, with the rookie quarterback and however you want to pin Matt Eberflus as a coach. As we've seen late down the stretch, he mismanaged some games, which cost him. So I think you getting Caleb Williams in his second year, kind of understands what he can get away with, what he can't get away with. But like Johnny said, it's essentially you're starting over with Ben Johnson. I do think they'll kind of be in the middle. I don't have a record for them, but I do like what they have around him. With Roma Dunze entering his second year, you got DJ Moore. You kind of beef up the O-line with Joe Thuney from the Pats, which is great. I just think it'll all land on Caleb. I like their defense, but it all comes down to Caleb. Can he make the right reads? Can he get the ball out of his hands? We all know he likes to be like Patrick Mahomes at times, which has killed him. But he had solid stats. They weren't great, but I think he builds off that. So I got the Bears honestly finishing third in this division. So we'll see how that plays out this year. And did you say? Did you give your rank?
I got him second.
Second?
I got
Second.
him
That's
second.
pretty high. Any reason for that?
Did y'all hear me earlier?
You're kind of in and out.
Okay, so basically what I was saying, man, I think Ben Johnson is going to help. I actually got them starting off the season very slow, and then I think they'll start getting into a groove. But I think their defense kept them in a lot of games last year. Like Aaron said, they was in a lot of one-possession games. Keenan Allen was in and out the lineup due to injury. But I think with Roma Duze learning, Caleb Williams learning, that O-line still kind of, at that time, right, still a little iffy. They beefed up the O-line. I think they'll be a little bit better. I think this will be a tough division, but I do have Chicago winning 10 games, going 10-7.
Okay.
And second
Wow.
Heard you. I think, not going to lie, I'm surprised by all of our answers. None of us have Chicago fourth, which you would kind of assume just how it played out last season. So kind of just moving on to the next team, man. A team that made the playoffs. Obviously, they lost their starting quarterback from last year, replacing him with a rookie. We got the Minnesota Vikings. Coach, go ahead, kick us off. Where you got them finishing?
Them finishing last in this division. I'm not very high on the Vikings right now. I do love their coach, Kevin O'Connell. I do not love the quarterback, though. I don't love J.J. McCarthy. I think they should not have drafted him as high as they did, and obviously you have a top-tier receiver, Justin Jefferson. I'm just, you go as far as your quarterback can take you. Obviously, he won a national championship at Michigan. He did not have to do much as a quarterback at that school. He was very much of a game manager. And at the college level, to me, that doesn't translate to the NFL very well. To me, he kind of reminds me of like Mac Jones from Bama as he comes to the NFL. He's not going to impress us much. If he does, great, but I don't see it happening. They're going to play good defense. That's who Minnesota is. But I'm just not fired up about this quarterback. Obviously, he had the injury last year, so this is like his true rookie season. And then every single year that passes by, Justin Jefferson's getting a year older. And I think that window is just closing. And I got them winning 5 games. I don't really have them doing too well this year.
I got a question, though, before I move on to the next person. I know you say you don't like the pick of J.J. McCarthy, who was picked 10th last year. Do you kind of feel like they reached a little bit or kind of got scared knowing that all the quarterbacks were kind of running out when it got to their pick?
Yeah, I think they did. I think it's starting to happen every single year, going back to the draft where Mitchell Trubisky went like second. Like, teams are just, the closer we get to the draft, the higher these quarterbacks go up the rankings. And, they panic before the draft. So yes, they reached for him. Bo Nix went a couple picks later. I think we could all agree Bo Nix probably would have been the better pick over J.J. McCarthy, right? So, they definitely reached for him.
Cool.
Was he taken before Bo Nix or after?
Before.
I think Bo Nix went 12th. Yeah.
Miles, where you got the Vikings finishing this year in this division?
Contrary to my boy Johnny, man, I got the Vikings second. I think a lot of that team stayed intact for the most part, and they still have number 18 on that field. So as long as they got him, I think J.J. McCarthy will be all right. I think we seen with last year, man, Justin Jefferson still had a great season. As long as you can find him down the field, I think things will be okay. Especially when we look at that defense. Brian Flores still remains in command of that defense, which was elite last year and kept them in a lot of their games. Also, too, when we look at it from a whole standpoint, that defense is still strong. They still got Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargraves they picked up. Josh Metellus signed a multi-year extension with that team. I think did they get Jordan Mason from the Niners? They got him too?
Yep.
Yeah, they got him. I think that running back room is pretty solid. So overall, I think they got some key pieces they can build on. And we all know defense wins championships. And so I think they'll keep them in the fight in the NFC, that tough NFC division.
Bet. Who was saying something?
Go next.
Yep.
I'll just go next. I'm kind of on the opposite side. I got them fourth, right? And the reason why I have that is the mix of what Johnny said with the quarterback position. Just don't know. I do like their system, though. They just always find a way to compete, right? We didn't expect anything out of Sam Darnold, and he had a Pro Bowl year, so it can happen. But I think that defense, just opposite to that defense started off hot, right? I think by the end of the year, people started to figure out Flores a little bit more and the guys that they had there. So I don't know if it's going to have the same impact starting this season. I do have them fourth, and I don't have them winning a lot of games. I only have them winning 4 games.
Scoop, you up next.
Same here, man. It's going to be a 6-11 year for him. I think it's going to be a frustration year for Jay Jettis. He's going to ask for that trade. I mean, shit, it's going to be bad. He already talking about how JJ is kind of like he's kind of giving him the pass because he said this is his rookie year. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just going to be turmoil over there. Their defense is going to try to keep them in the game as close as possible, but the offense is going to be a 3-and-out game. So I got them dead last.
Yep. And that's exactly where I had them. I got a question for everybody. I know we just talked about, I think we all kind of have the same question marks around J.J. McCarthy. Do you think at any point in the season do they look towards Sam Howell, who's their backup, who was also drafted pretty high? I won't say pretty high, but he was taken in early rounds. Do you think at any point in the season do they look to Sam Howell to kind of see what he's about, or do they just stick with the 10th overall pick from last year's draft?
I think you got to ride the wheels till it fall off.
I mean,
I can see him getting pulled. I didn't think about that.
We haven't seen an NFL snap from him yet, but just knowing, I mean, I can't really say we're just gonna have Sam come over JJ, right? Especially if we haven't seen a snap. But him being the 10th pick, I just say you play him the whole season, let him get as much experience as you can, especially if that's your future.
I hear you. Me personally, I think the kind of position that the Vikings are in, they were a playoff team last year. And I think if they're starting the season off falling short of that expectation, I don't think just because they have essentially a rookie quarterback, that playoffs aren't the expectation anymore. So I think if it's a slow start, first 6 or 7 games, if it's looking ugly, I think they could try to make a move if that's the problem of that team. Obviously, if there's other things like the defense just not playing well, then I don't know. We'll see. I do think since it's early in JJ's career, I could see them taking or benching him just to let him sit and watch this a little bit more, see what Sam Howell can do. But yeah, I'm not really expecting much from them or from him, to be honest, because I didn't see much from him at Michigan. So it'll be one thing to see Justin Jefferson. He is a floor riser. We've seen it do it with Kirk Cousins. We've seen him do it with Sam Darnold. So he can get the best out of quarterback. So I guess we'll just have to see. Moving on to the next team, man. We got the Green Bay Packers. Oh, you got some?
Just to run back to that question, though, I feel like if they do play him and they aren't good, I feel like what's the point of – you could tank and get a good quarterback. There's a lot of good guys coming out in this year's draft, you know what I mean? You got Cade Klubnik, Lenoris, Garrett, you know what I mean? So I feel like if they do run into some adversity this year, hey, just let them ride it out and then try to go get a quarterback next year.
That's such a tough position for Justin Jefferson. Like Scoob was saying, like you're going after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and like trying to not having a continuity within that and such a flow. Like I wouldn't be shocked, like Scoob said, if nothing's figured out this year at the quarterback position, he out of there.
I thought they should have.
You can't give up on your investment that soon to me either. Like the only real example I could think of that kind of situation is what Arizona did to Josh Rosen, where it was like from the jump, it was like, yeah, we made the wrong decision. Like, and Kyler Murray's coming up. Like, it just has to be a perfect kind of scenario like that to give up on him. I don't think that'll happen with J.J. McCarthy though.
I thought Kirk was a great fit for that team. It was kind of weird that they got off of him. I thought they should have stuck with him. Obviously, he got injured in Atlanta, so he was kind of up there in the 30s, high 30s. But I thought, I didn't think he was a problem with that Minnesota team. I thought that was kind of their downfall, although they made the playoffs. But we kind of seen the struggles. Sam Darnold really wasn't meant for that pressure, and that's why they got off of him a year later. So moving on, man.
Kirk, you seen how Kirk performed this year? So obviously Minnesota probably made the best decision.
Yeah, they maybe. Well, I don't know. That's just a new team, new scheme, new coach, new city. That a lot of shit outside of football probably plays into Kirk playing like that because I think that surprised a lot of us. Any more thoughts on the Vikings before I move on?
I was going to ask.
All right, man. Moving on, man, there we go. I was waiting for that. Moving on to the Packers, man. They also was one of the 3 teams that made the playoffs. They got a very young core on the offensive side of the ball. Where do you see them finishing in the division this year, Anthony?
I got them number 1. I got them winning 11 games. I got them dethroning Detroit from their spot. I just like how they're made up. The OC comes from the Shanahan McVay realm where offense you're pretty much not going to have a problem. Last year it was an issue because the receivers just wasn't consistent, right? And then you had the Romeo Dobbs situation where he was kind of like I thought, he just had problems within the locker room, and then he came back, right? So I like the addition of Matthew Golden. I think Jalen Reed's also going to be a threat. They're going to have a good run game. I think their defense is going to hold up well. They had, McKinney did a great job coming in last year and really being a threat. And Jordan Love, honestly, I think he will have the year this year that we expected him to have last year. And if, he got hurt that first game, and I don't know if that hindered a lot or if that's just his natural, playing ability throughout that rest of the season. But I'm banking on them getting 11 wins and leading the NFC North.
Yep. I got a question before I move on to the next person. Do you think it's a problem to not have a clear-cut receiver 1 on your team? Do you think that creates – because that's how I view the Packers. They don't really have a clear-cut wide receiver 1. And as you mentioned with Romeo Dobbs, at one point they probably thought he was receiver 1. He probably thought he was receiver 1. As you mentioned, he was having problems, ego problems, not getting the ball enough, this, here, and that. Do you think that could be a problem, or is that just some random shit?
No, I think it makes you tougher to defend because you don't know really who to, let's take away from this guy or take away from that guy. It's like anybody could be a wild card in that moment. So it kind of resembled 2 years ago when the Packers played the Cowboys, and even when the Packers was playing the Niners in the playoffs, it was like, dang, you just got so many options out there, and none of them's like a clear-cut go-to guy. But when the Packers had Devontae Adams, you knew if it was a third down and you knew who they was going to target. Now it's like, so it's a double-edged sword. You have that part of it, but when you have a guy you need to rely on, you don't have a top 10 wide receiver that could go get the ball and go get you a first down, go win the game for you. That could also be a piece of it.
Miles, where you got the Packers finishing this year?
I got them last, brother. I got them finishing last. But
okay,
they do have a lot of bright spots. I think the brightest spot, obviously, as we all know, is Jordan Love. But, man, we got to look at history. Packers had the worst offense, had one of the worst offenses last year, one of the worst defenses last year. They had their wide receiver core has some of the most drops in the NFL, which, I don't know how you fix that over, a couple of months. Maybe it's just confidence. Maybe it's just lack of connection playing together. But that's a huge red flag to me coming into this season. You lose Jair Alexander to Baltimore. Milton Williams, he's gone. You have what? You're a depleted secondary, really. I knew they had Takk McKinley back there as a bright spot, but you got Bo Milton, which I heard rumors. Bo Milton, wide receiver, trying to convert to defensive back. Which when you got receivers trying to convert to DB, you got an issue there for me. But overall, you got Matthew Golden. I like him out of Texas. I think he's a good playmaker that might, liven up that offense just a little bit. You got Rashawn Gary on the defense. You got Quay Walker back there too, which, could make some things happen. But there's a lot of question marks around that team for me to have them ranked any higher than 4, unfortunately.
All right, we got our first shocker of the series right now. Packers finishing 4th after making the playoffs last season. Johnny, where you got the Packers finishing this year?
I really don't have many question marks for them. I think they're a really well put together team. They addressed the offensive line. They signed Aaron Banks, who was a 49er, right? He's going to play left guard for them. They kicked their starting left guard. Now he's going to play center. So they improved their offensive line. You got Josh Jacobs coming back. This is going to be his second full season with the Packers. I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. You draft Matthew Golden, which finally the Packers drafted a receiver in the first round. And then they also drafted Savion Williams from TCU. So you added 2 really quality receivers to that receiver room. You still have Christian Watson. You still have Romeo Doubs. You got Jaden Reed, too, from Michigan State. That kid right there, he's explosive, and I love watching him. I love their tight end, Tucker Kraft. I think this offense is built for Jordan Love's skill set. He's not going to have to throw for 350 yards. They're not asking him to do that. They're going to run the ball really well. They're going to use play action, and they're going to get the ball in these receivers' hands. And then when it's time to take a shot over the top, that's where Matthew Golden comes in. That's where Jaden Reed comes in. I think they have the pieces they need to be competitive for the NFC crown this year. I think they're going to be up there with the Eagles. I do. And then defensively, you got Quay Walker. You got Rashawn Gary, right? Kenny Clark. Shout out to Carl Brooks, a Bowling Green Falcon. Secondary-wise, they added Nate Hobbs from the Raiders, who's a good slot corner. And then I also think they have the best special teams coordinator in football, which is Rich Bisaccia, who used to be with the Raiders, Cowboys, Buccaneers. He's been everywhere in the NFL. So they have a great coaching staff. I think they have phenomenal pieces. They have depth, and they're going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, and for me, I got the Packers finishing first just off the strength of the offense. I know I was kind of critical. I'm not really critical on Jordan Love. His first playoff game or first playoff that I've seen was a couple years ago, Niners divisional round, and he kind of threw the game away. So I was a little iffy about him, but he does have that it factor. And then when you just have a bunch of weapons around him, that receiving core is deep. And then. Not saying he's going to make a huge difference to the receiving core, but they added Mecole Hardman. As you mentioned, they got a good special teams coach. He's a great returner, so he just adds to that. The only question mark I have for the Packers is the defensive backs, the DB core. I'm not high on them. I know Nate Hobbs is pretty nice with the Raiders, but I don't know. That other cornerback, the left side, Carrington Valentine, don't know too much about him. I do like Xavier McKinney, though, back there, and Keyshawn Nixon. So, I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. But, yeah, I still got them finishing first just off the strength of the offense. I do think they got the best offense in that division, and that's saying a lot with the Lions in that same division. Scoob, I see you back, man. We was just on the Packers. Where you got them finishing in the division this year?
I think it's going to be neck and neck with Chicago. I think it's going to be, basically what you said is the DBs is the liability. I feel like the interior front's there. I feel like their offense is there. I think they got all the key pieces. The chemistry is there. I think it's just a form of clicking. And can they be in that midseason form from the start to get that good push? But I think Chicago got that playmaker. Green Bay don't, so I put Green Bay at third.
Okay.
And that playmaker, I'm talking about Caleb Williams.
So we got Packers first for some of us, Packers fourth for one, and then the Packers third for another. Moving on to the last team in the NFC North, we got the Lions. Very disappointing end to their season last year in the playoffs. I believe they took a loss to the hand of the Commanders. We'll start with you, Scoop, since you just finished this off. How do you see the Lions finishing this year in the division?
I think they're going to be first. I think they got a well-rounded team, and especially Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's the next little T.J. Watt coming up. I think he's a game changer. I think he can make plays that's going to, change the trajectory of the whole game. So that's something that they have that nobody else has on the offensive side. I think this is going to be Jay Will's breakout season. Um, I think we're going to really see. We've seen a little glimpse of it towards the end of last year, but I think this year's going to be his breakout season. And they got the same thing. They got Dan Campbell, man. I'm a big fan of, you know what I'm saying, that hard-nosed player, personnel coach that he can just motivate his guys to win. So I got Detroit number one. I got them 12 wins, too.
Yep. And how you see that? How you see them finishing this year?
Man, I don't even got them making playoffs, man. I got them winning 9 games. I think they're good roster-wise. Dan Campbell, like you said, I think he's a great coach. I think he's a great motivator. But at the end of the day, what's your scheme like? And that offense was a well-oiled machine behind Ben Johnson. I just got to see it again. We've seen this before where you have a good team kind of go and had coordinators take on different positions, and that was the Eagles. We mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. And we seen that offense just struggle, right? And then they brought in Kellen Moore, and then they did their thing. They brought in Saquon as well. I think the roster is good. I just think it's tough. They're coming off of back-to-back division titles, so I think it's tough to retain that all the way through. Doing that for a third year, especially when you got a team like Green Bay, especially when you got a team like Chicago. That's kind of even Minnesota. If JJ ends up being good, they're going to be top 2 in the division. Just how their team is built. So I got Detroit going third in the division.
Yep. Miles, how you see them finishing this year?
Man, come on now. I got Detroit at number one, man. I think they're the most complete team in that division right now. They still got the running back depth with Jahmyr Gibbs. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got Jared Goff, man, coming off an amazing year. Granted, they don't have Ben Johnson anymore, which I think that is going to leave a void. But that team, the essence of that team, the skeleton of that team is still there. I mean, they just signed DJ Reed after losing Carlton Davis to the New England Patriots, who was kind of like that leader. But I think that is a strong signing for them, kind of fills that depth in the secondary. Also, too, they lost their starting center. But they did get another one back, a veteran center, and what was his name? Graham Glasgow. I got it in my notes. I ain't trying to put no disrespect on him, but they get a veteran center in him. And you still got Sam Laporta, which I think, for a hot take, man, I think he's going to be the best tight end in the NFL this year. Simply because the targets are going to go up. Sam already had a historic rookie season, almost 900 yards, 10 touchdowns. We'll look at him as like the Travis Kelce's and the Mark Andrews of the NFL. So I think they got a solid offensive foundation. Also, too, looking at the defensive end, they drafted a big guy out of Ohio State first round, Tyler Williams, to kind of help that run defense that kind of struggled last year. So the big question is how they're going to look in the end game, which we'll see when it comes to week 1. But I think they got all the talent to be the best team in that division and potentially in the NFC.
Yep. And Sam Laporta is not the best. He won't be the best tight end, man. That shit is reserved for George Kittle, bro. But moving on, Johnny, where you got them finishing, man? No rebuttal, bro.
I do have the Lions taking a step back this year. Just like Anthony said, if you lose one coordinator, that's hard. You lose both offensive and defensive coordinators at the level at those guys where Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are as good as it gets at the coordinator spot. You lose both of those, there will be some drop off. There just has to be. On paper, this roster is stacked. Offensive line wise, I mean, just like Miles touched on, Penei Sewell is probably the best offensive lineman in football. Tight end wise, yeah, Sam Laporta's top 5, no doubt. And then you have ARSB and J-Mo, right? Two really big-time receivers, and then you have two really good running backs. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs, who's probably a top 5 back, and then David Montgomery, who's that perfect change of pace back with Jahmyr Gibbs. And then Jared Goff, man. You got to talk about Jared Goff. He had a phenomenal season last year. Obviously, he's been in the league for a while. He's done it. When does his career start declining? Is it this year? I don't know. We'll find out. But I do think they're going to take a step back, man. Offensively, for sure. You go from the best offensive mind in football. It's just going to happen. So we'll see. I think they're going to come out strong, though. Out the gate, they will come out strong. And then when you get to the middle of the season and teams start scheming you up, and then it becomes, okay, the offensive coordinator has to become a mastermind, I think that's kind of when they'll start slipping through. So watch out for that. DJ Reed was a big signing for them on defense. Aiden Hutchinson is healthy. I can't wait to watch him play. And I love Jack Campbell at the inside linebacker spot. So they are still loaded roster-wise. I love Dan Campbell. I love everything about that team and that fan base. I got the pleasure of going to a Monday Night Football game there a couple years ago. It was awesome. But I do have them finishing second. They will take a minor step back. They will be in the playoffs, and I hope they're in the hunt once again.
Yep. And I'm not going to try to sound like a broken record. I got them second, too, for the very same reasons that you guys mentioned. Losing Ben Johnson is a huge deal, especially when Jared Goff is your quarterback. So that's where I got them placed, and they still make the playoffs. I just, based off the strength of that, their team is constructed better than the Bears and the Vikings to me. And then they still got Dan Campbell. They take the identity of the head coach, who's just a gritty head coach. So I think they make it, but finishing behind the Packers.